And we are live. Good afternoon, good morning, everybody. This is episode 26 of Overdose and Chill. And today we're joined by Tamsin and Chris from Mildred & Co. You can wait and say hi. Yeah. So another one of our little actionable insights audits where Jason and Vinny have taken a bit of a dive into some of the stats behind the scene and trying to see if we can add some value in some quick rapid fire spaces. If anyone who's watching live has questions, post it in the comments and they will pop up and I can share those with the audience. Tams and Chris, how we always like to start is just a little introduction and tell us about Mildred & Co. and how you got to where you are today.
Mildred & Co. was actually founded 8 years ago by a friend and old colleague of mine called Millie Nolan, but we acquired the business last year from her. Predominantly, it's always been a wedding registry, and it's been quite a successful one. It has a really prominent place in the market, especially I think the service that Millie provided was always really premium, and the products that she chose were really beautiful and well curated. And then COVID came along, which kind of ground everything to a bit of a halt. And so we decided to add in baby products and a baby registry, which is something that we've been wanting to do for a while anyway, but it seemed like a really good time to do it. So now we've got the two offerings, bridal and baby.
Amazing. Okay, so shall we rip into this? And Jason, I know you've got a bit of a deck to start talking the guys through, so I'm going to try and click some buttons.
Yeah,
and cool. Jason, over to you. Why don't we start with your keyword pillars of search?
Excellent. So guys, I don't know if you're familiar with SEO, but SEO is built on these pillars of items or things that we look at when we're auditing a website. So right smack at the bottom there is the foundation of a building, which is the keyword research. So if we don't understand how people are searching or the people that you're trying to target, what their search behaviors are like, it's very hard for us to optimize the website accordingly. So for your business, it'll be things like wedding registry, baby registry, gift registry, those kind of keywords. But I think now that the business has pivoted somewhat, that you want to try and sell more to direct to consumer as well. So I think your catchment of keywords will increase. So we need to first understand what type of keywords we need to be gunning for. And then all those different pillars that you see there, on-site, technical, and content, and off-site, those are all the things that are available on your website. So things that you tend to control by a code or tags or content. And then offsite, the last pillar that you see there, is all about popularity. So offsite is also called link building. I'm not sure if you heard of that term before, but it's basically how many different websites on the internet are actually talking about Mildred & Co., linking to the website, actually recommending your services to other people as well. So today I'm going to walk you through all those key pillars here and sort of give you a few critiques here and there and hopefully give you some actionable takeaways there. Next slide, Todd, please. Cool. So talking about keywords, the main objective for SEO is obviously to get as many targeted or relevant keywords ranking on the page one of Google, right? So when someone types in wedding registry or wedding gift registry, we want Mildred & Co. to be ranking on page one. That's the key idea here. So here in the top graph, what you see here is the total number of keywords that the website is ranking for in the top 100 of google.co.nz. So as you can see, the total number of keywords they're currently ranking for is 449. And it's estimated that those 449 keywords is going to bring you about 515 sessions to the website, which is not a lot, which also tells me that the website isn't ranking for too many non-branded keywords, so things that are not related to any mention of Mildred or Mildred & Co. or any of the combinations. So those keywords they're currently ranking for aren't bringing you a lot of traffic, which is what you're experiencing at the moment.
Yeah.
Now, the bottom chart is isolating the data to just the top 20. So if you just observe your own search behavior on Google, you won't scroll past page 2 unless you really, really want to find that item or that service that no one else has to offer. it's very rarely that users will search past page 2 of Google. So isolating the data, you can also see that the number of keywords that the website's ranking for is not much. It's 86 at the moment. So by focusing on the type of keywords and the right keywords, we can then better understand how to optimize the website and to basically increase your visibility on page 1 of Google. That's the main objective for SEO. Next slide, Todd. So diving in a little bit deeper, we have a tool. It's called SEMrush. It's pretty inexpensive, and it allows you to basically spy on any website on the internet, right? You can just pop in the website. You can get to see what keywords they're ranking for, the search volume, and the estimated amount of traffic that each website is getting. So the first chart that you see there, the competitive positioning map, that is where you're sitting at the moment, right? Smack in the middle, right? So is this based on the number of keywords that the website is ranking for? You can see the lovers, I can't really see, this very blur. The lovely registry.co.nz is sitting a little bit further from you. Same amount of keywords, sort of, but it's generating more traffic for them. That's because they've introduce and target those keywords correctly. And right on the other end of the spectrum is, which is the blue one there. Those guys are obviously not quite relevant to you guys. I think they're, you register your marriage and stuff like that. So I think it's a different provider altogether there.
I'm pleased you're really zooming in on the screen, because I thought it was just my eyesight and you can see you leaving.
No, it's a bit, it is a bit blur. And then the bottom chart there, the keyword overlap chart. So I just compared you guys with the 2 competitors which you nominated. So Mildred & Co. versus Honeypot versus the lovely registry. You see where those circles intersect are the common keywords that all 3 websites are ranking for. And you can see in comparison to the lovely registry, their bubble size is so much bigger in comparison to Mildred & Co. That's because they probably have more products that they are showcasing, and they build up more landing pages. So in order for you guys to be competitive, we sort of, need to dissect to see what they're doing well on, and to see whether we can replicate the same thing. So it's not so much monkey see, monkey do, but monkey see, monkey execute type of approach, right? And then over on the table, you can see wedding registry as you, sorry, Chris, you got a question?
Yeah, so would that be, because the Lovely's model is based around sort of clipping the supplier's website, would that generate that for them, or is this their own organic activity?
This is their own organic activity. So what they're essentially doing is they're hijacking the brands that they stock. They're building out those landing pages for, say, KitchenAid. They have a landing page for KitchenAid, and they're ranking really well for those kind of keywords because they've got the content and the landing page for it. So you guys have the assets for it. We just have to build out those pages. And then over on the, like you said earlier on, Tamsin, wedding registry was the bread and butter of Mildred & Co. I can definitely see that. So you can see the benchmark against Mildred and Honeypot and Lovely. Wedding registry is by far probably the most popular keyword that's relevant to you guys. You are ranking position number 4 in comparison to the Lovely, who's position number 3. So a little bit of catching up to do, but not too bad. You're getting that page 1 visibility. But what shocked me was the total number of search volumes available for those type of keywords are actually in the hundreds. That shocked me a little bit. I thought the gifting space would have been a little bit bigger than that. So that measurement is obviously from Google. So it's the average number of searches per month. So the number 320, that's estimated, that's how much traffic that's available out there, which again, it could be wrong, it could be accurate, but that shocked me a little bit that the number is so low. So that tells me that the category that you're playing in has very low traffic volume. So we need to find different ways of milking and generating more traffic through other means. If you tap to the next slide. Yep.
So Jason, I would have thought that a wedding couple would search for a wedding registry, but the other 200 people coming to the wedding wouldn't search for the word registry. They'd search for, I want to buy Tams and a KitchenAid, right? So they go very much more product gift specific than really
exactly.
Registry means nothing to them.
Yeah.
Exactly, which is what the lovely group has done, right? They've gone more direct to consumer rather than the gifting side solely. So here, so I want to just show you how we pick the right keywords. So you can see gift registry and baby registry. All in all, very low search volumes. Even for Briscoe gift registry, it's only estimated that there's about 170 people searching on average per month. So very, very low search volume. So if you go to the next slide, Todd. Now, if we go a little bit broader, of all the brands that you stock, Vitamix, for example, that fancy blender, 1,000 searches per month, right? So you see, when you start broadening your keyword targeting abilities, you start targeting all these generic branded keywords, which have the ability to generate more traffic for you. So not so much, direct to consumer, but also you can throw a little gifting angle, like Todd said, right? I want to buy Tams in a Vitamix. Where do I go? And then you type in Vitamix as a gift, then boom, you start ranking for it. So here you can start seeing that the search volumes are slightly increasing. Obviously, the brands that you stock, the more niche and the more designer they are, the search volumes will be less. So that's how traffic generation happens, right? So if you go to the next slide, Todd. Here, you can start seeing once you target slightly more generic keywords, more search volumes appear. Kitchen appliances packages, dinnerware sets, which is all the stuff that you have in stock. Home decor, home decorations. When you start going more generic, the search volume tends to increase. So I think for you guys, you're doing quite well from the gift registry categories of keywords. So continue to do that. But I think now we need to focus on optimizing your product category pages, which is where all these keywords are sitting and tend to be targeted, right? So we need to make sure that we zhuzh up those category pages to rank better. Next slide, Todd. You're muted.
Sorry, I've muted myself. And Tams, whilst you are a gift registry business, you'd quite happily sell me a dinnerware set today, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And we do quite a bit of that sort of shop now, is what we call it. Yeah.
Cool. Next slide, Todd. All right. So here's how you put into action. So if you remember the previous slide, I showed you kitchen appliances had about, I think, 880 average search volume per month. So here's an example of your kitchen appliances landing page. You can see that the heading of that category page just says appliances. So that's way too generic. You're not being specific. So from an SEO perspective, you need to be very, very specific. You need to treat Google like a little child. You need to tell them exactly what that page is about through those different tags. So ignoring your own website for now, if you look at the little graph or the chart or the illustration on the left-hand side, if I were to ask you a question, Tamsin and Chris, what is that page about?
Yeah, we can't
really see because it's a bit blur. But immediately you will go, oh, that page is about chocolate donuts for sure, because it mentions the word chocolate donuts in the title tag, in the description, in the illustration, in the heading, in the images, within the content as well. So that same, the same effect needs to be applied to all your category and subcategory pages on your website. So flipping back to the website again, that page, the heading should say kitchen appliances, right? And then the heading and the title tag, everything needs to have the word kitchen appliances in there. That would then help it to rank better. Yep.
We're not familiar with this space, Jason. We've been very nervous about changing these category titles and stuff because we rank on the top page for the wedding registries, but we've always been unsure where the data's pulling from because we're in a Magento platform and we're like, well, the logic seems to go when you start to think logical in Magento, and therefore how's Google reading it to go forward? So we've been quite cautious not to change the titles too much and lose our ranking. Would that apply?
No.
No. So in Magento, there are what we call, I guess, your core elements that power the website, which users don't really see. that's the component that you don't really want to touch. I understand what you're trying to say, because when you start changing the headings of a category, it might change the menu name and stuff like that, right? But that element can be isolated from what we're trying to achieve here. So all the main components like H1 headings, title tags, and meta description tags, those are powered underneath the, Todd, do you remember where it goes in the CMS within Magento?
So
I think
on your category pages, you can define the difference between what you're displaying and what's going into the meta. So that's on your category catalog, and just up here you've got the meta stuff, which doesn't appear on the page but is in the background code. And then when you start going into your individual products and categories, you can define the URL structure. What is my display name versus what is my URL structure? And you can control all of those pieces. One of the reasons most SEO guys absolutely love Magento is that you can control the entire URL and display structure of that site. Whereas when you're in a SaaS platform, sometimes you need to fit into other patterns that are already there. So you have all of that power at your hands to be able to do that.
Okay, cool.
Cool. So that's the first thing I would look at is, do your own keyword research and be very, very specific. So here's how then I would then apply it to those metadata tags that Todd mentioned. So here's an example of your existing kitchen appliances page. Your title tag reads Mildred & Co. / a baby shower and gift registry / and then shop ... It gets cut off. So that page is about kitchen appliances. You will always rank #1 for Mildred & Co. because you own the brand, you own the website. So there's no point having your brand featured in the title tag right at the start. So always put it in the back. So a better way of doing that is just to flip it. So kitchen appliances NZ, which is the keyword that we want to rank for. And then you go shop online and create a gift registry. So you're being punchy. You're telling people that you can not only buy this product direct from me, you can also create a gift registry at the same time. So you're communicating intent, you're communicating strong call to actions, and you're actually telling people you're also a gift registry service. And then the 2 line items at the bottom there is what we call meta descriptions. Those, treat them as your elevator pitch. Right, you want to entice people to click through. So I've just written a simple thing that says Mildred & Co. has a wide selection of kitchen appliances, again, target keyword, from leading brands such as coffee machines, mixers, toasters, and more. Create a free gift registry. Or you could swap it out to go free shipping New Zealand-wide, or fast delivery, or something like that people can capture their attention and go, oh, man, these guys are great. I'm going to click through. So here's some tips. Sorry, Chris,
Is there a quick way, Jason, to test whether the meta description we're using currently, pulls through? So, if we looked up kitchen appliances, for argument's sake, and with the meta, we didn't come up in the first page. If we went in and changed that in that kitchen appliance, how long would it be before we started to see that come through to the top pages?
Cool. So from an SEO perspective, changes does take a little bit longer. It's not like PPC or Google Ads where you pay $1, next day you get to see your ads appear and you get to track the clicks throughout. So it does take about, I would say 2 to 3 months for you to see an impact. And the way you measure that is via Google Search Console. So Google Search Console is different to Google Analytics. Google Search Console gives you query data, so you can actually track the keywords performance for a duration of time.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Yeah, cool. Next slide, Todd.
So succinct.
Okay, now I'm going to the next pillar now, which is the content pillar. So it's very important for content to be visible and crawlable on all your category pages. I've noticed that you've done it on some, but not all. So here's an example of Harvey Norman, right? Where they've taken a targeted keyword, which is kitchen appliances. You can see how they've applied it to the content on the category page. You want to make sure that the target keyword's in the H1 heading, which is the biggest text that you see there. They're utilizing H2 headings to break out the content a little bit. And again, you're using the targeted keyword here and there as well. And then once you build out that paragraph of text, always remember to internal link it to other category and subcategory pages. So if it's the kitchen appliances, you might want to link it to the coffee machines landing page or the category page as well. So the general rule of thumb is try to aim for at least 150 words of content. You're already doing this on some, but not on all. So I would encourage you to start building out the, I guess, intro, sellable, salesy content for all your category and subcategory pages.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Go to the next slide, Todd. All right, you do have a bit of a problem here in terms of duplicate content. Because of your shop now and shop for your registry, from a user's perspective, 100% is I can see your thought process there. I can see why you've done that. But from an SEO perspective, Google is going to get confused because they're going to go, oh, you've got 2 kitchen appliances landing page. Which one do you want me to rank and which one do you want me to prioritize? Because they look like for like, exactly the same. It's just subtle differences. So we need to have a think about how your website's architected and potentially try and consolidate the both of them into just one version, just so there's no cannibalization.
Yeah.
Is that because one of those is buy now and one of them is registry? Is that why?
But I suppose we've got the buy now button or the add to registry on both anyway. So
that's right. Yeah. So I think consolidating them is just going to create less headaches for you moving forward from an SEO perspective.
We've had a lot of feedback about the 2 things, particularly where we're sort of trying to upgrade the Magento platform. And again, it's just been one of those things we've been nervous about. If we turn this off, what does it do to where we sit on the rankings? But if we,
or just I think we were thinking that customer experience, like, are they coming into the site to buy now, or are they, sometimes we have different customers, but I guess, to your point, they are pretty much the same. And there's a clear button that says you can do one or the other anyway. I think ideally the shop now was a lot smaller, and it was products that were, there was not as much on offer there, but we expanded it because we didn't think that was a very good experience for people coming to just buy a gift.
But it's good feedback, why duplicate?
Cool.
So Jason, just for the rest of the audience, in a Google world, what does Google do when it sees duplicate content?
Yeah, so you don't get a penalty. You don't get, say, I'm going to mark you down because you got duplicate content. You just have lack of control. So if someone searches, I want to buy a KitchenAid now, you can't really pick which page. Google will just pick one or the other. So the other one will get less of a visible impact versus the other. That is all. So we just want to make sure that we consolidate, make it nice and easy. Like I said, treat Google like a 3-year-old child and literally guide them to where you want them to rank and index your page.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Text content, as I mentioned before, is very, very important. Google is a very old school search engine, still relies on text to understand the context of the page. So the more crawlable text content that you have, the likelihood of you ranking higher increases. So this is just a chart from a research that someone else did in the States, where they looked at 1 million Google search results. And what they found was there was direct correlation between the number of words versus rankings. So if you go to the next slide, Todd. So I think for you,
I like to use words. So and often when she's there for 10 minutes writing words. But I just got a question around the words. So if you were to copy and paste just the word format of brand tech copy, do you get penalised for that?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
So even if you sort of converted it to your own text and not HTML text or whatever, and this is my technical talk, and put that into your copy, you get penalized, yeah?
That's correct. So the classic example is iPhone 10X or whatever that just recently launched, right? So all the retailers will be wanting to optimize and generate traffic for it. But because Apple is forcing all the retailers to use their product description word for word, for a reason. That's because they want to make sure that they rank number 1 and number 2 for those keywords, which is what, if you guys want to rank well for KitchenAid, blender XYZ, whatever the manufacturer gives to you, you need to tweak it a little bit rewrite it if you can. That will give you better performance from an SEO perspective.
Yeah.
Is there any secrets in the sense of, in the first 5 words, change 1 word and you're good to go, or?
No, unfortunately, it's not that nitty gritty. So no one knows what the threshold is. But the just general rule of thumb is do not copy and paste word for word. If you can tweak it as much as possible, that's preferred. But if you tweak the first 5 sentences and be done with it, that will be a little bit better than copying like for like.
Yeah, okay. That's okay. I've got a writing background, so.
Nice. Good. Now that you have a writing background, I've got a bit of homework for you. So here's an example of the evergreen content. So you need to start thinking about different content ideas that are outside of your product catalog. So here's an example of Papier, which is they specialize in paper. What they've written is a really good article about wordings or invitation. Couples, when they are getting married, they'll be like, oh man, I don't even know what to say in my wedding invitation. I need examples. Naturally, they'll Google it. So you want to make sure that you find out gifting registry, a baby, wedding, or whatever that's relevant to your services. What is going to be helping my target market out in making a decision to make a purchase with us? So something that is value driven. So for example, these guys, this one piece of content is ranking for 354 keywords and is estimated to be driving about 1,000 searches to their website per month. So you can see now coming up with I guess, what you call it, a vertically embedded content idea is going to help you drive that top of the funnel traffic in there. So be useful, be valuable, and be something that people can't. I can't help but to read your content and bookmark it and share it with my mates because it's so good. So you need to come up with different ideas like that. So this is just one example. But come up with wordings. You could come up with baby wishes, baby celebratory wishes, or how to write a card and stuff like that. So you can come up with different ideas like that to try and capture more traffic to the site.
Yeah,
and there must be some good stuff around trying to do weddings in COVID, Tamsin. There must be heaps of insights and bloggy articles there.
Yeah. And so this sounds like blog content. Do you mean for it to be in one place on the site like blog content, or is it better to have multiple places for it?
No, blog content is perfect for it.
Okay.
Yeah. Next slide, Todd. Okay, now we're looking at the technical aspects of the site now. So you told me the website is Magento. I could detect it as well. So go next slide, Todd. All right. So this is the crawl map of your website. So the red dots are the problematic dots. So your Magento installation has some issues, suffice to say. Now we need to try and clean up those red dots. So basically Google is crawling the website and then it's crawling all these red dots and you're telling them to go, no, you shouldn't be indexing this page. Go back to another page. So you're basically sending Google into a spiral within your website there. So technically your website is only this small, but then the way the website is coded up is actually telling Google that the website is this big. So you're actually wasting their resources by introducing those different random pages. That's because you have not controlled how your robots.txt is working out. So if you go to the next slide, Todd, I'll show you an example.
Please. I think that's how my brain feels when I hear Magento.
What's important to understand there, guys, is that Google gives you all like a quota, right, of how long it's going to spend crawling your website. So the more efficiently you can use the time that Google's given you, the better the outcome you're going to be. And if you spend time telling Google to go down black holes, you basically lose the opportunities to rank for something else. And it will just say, I'm bored, I'm moving on to the next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So fixing that issue is quite simple. So you just need to control what they can crawl and index. So all you need to do once I send this across to you guys is you can copy and paste this to your developers and say, hey, I need these 4 rules to be added to the robots.txt file. That would make all those red bubbles disappear. So it's just a simple thing that you need to enable within your robots.txt file to make that happen. And the reason those red bubbles appear is because of all your filtering and sorting options that's available on the website there that hasn't been handled correctly. Go to the next slide.
Is that for every different sort and filtering permutation, it's telling it that it's a brand new page every single time, as opposed to it being just the one core main kitchen appliances page. You've got like 100 different permutations of each page.
Oh, right.
So I suppose this sort of brings on, we're going in a transition at the moment to M2, and conscious that we don't overinvest in one and then impact the other one, or vice versa, and where we sit ranking wise. Would your advice be to do something like this now, or wait 3 to 6 months until we've got a site that's I guess
this one here, this is 5 minutes worth of work, and it's adding value all the time. So part of what Overdose does is moving a lot of people from M1 to M2. Never stop improving your SEO, because it can all be transferred over. Don't wait 6 months for something that can be done today. When you do your migration, there is a very strict process to follow in making sure you're carrying that value forward with you. But you should be able to carry 80-90% of that forward. So the higher you get, the lower the dip, right? So always invest in it.
Definitely do this now, because this is going to clean up the website before you migrate, which is much better. So another major issue that the website has is a wrong pagination canonical tag setup. Okay, it sounds a lot of jargon, but basically Google cannot crawl page 2, page 3, page 4 of your kitchen appliances page. So every time they try to hit page 2, where maybe your Vitamix blender is featured, you're telling Google, no, don't crawl that page. Go back to page 1. Go back to page 1. So your products that are sitting on page 2 and beyond aren't getting the SEO love that it's meant to be getting because of this setup. So you can see here, it's the canonical tag is what you see there. That is for page 2, and you're telling Google to only crawl and index and consolidate everything to page 1 of the category, which is wrong. So we need to open that up and basically let the self-referencing canonical tag happen. Again, this is just a quick conversation with your developers, and hopefully they can fix that up for you.
Thank you.
Next slide, Todd. Again, some fundamentals here. XML Sitemap is like your yellow pages to your website, which is a little file that you submit into Google to say, hey, Google, here's my list of all my URLs. You can crawl and index them. Here it is. You have not set that up. It should be out of the box with Magento. Again, have a chat to your developers. It's literally, like I said, not even a 5-minute job. It's a 2-second job. Go to the XML sitemap report, click generate, and then they'll generate you a URL. And all you need to do is just submit that URL to Google Search Console.
Fantastic. Okay. So easy wins along the way here, Ryan.
Next one, Todd. Cool. All right, so another bread and butter of e-commerce SEO is structured data, or schema tags. So schema tags help you trigger what we call rich snippets. So if you look over to the right-hand side, those star ratings and the pricing and the in-stock stuff, so all those things are essentially what we call rich snippets. So it's basically marking up your website to tell Google that I am selling a product, and the product costs X amount, and the product has this amount of reviews, and we have it in stock. So by featuring all this, what we call schema or little structured data bits, you're basically telling Google that I've got this product, come and get it from me, instead of Google crawling hard and trying to understand what that page is about. You're sending Google those signals, and also helps you trigger those rich snippets, which is great for click-through rate. So we just, it's missing that. Again, conversation with the web developers to try and implement that for you. It shouldn't be too difficult with Magento.
Shouldn't be too difficult, but it's definitely a bit more work, that one, because they need to kind of capture the attribute and then code it up into the header of your website. But when they look at their template, that should be pretty much best practice, that they should be pulling that data through.
Okay.
And it's simple, right? When as Jason refers to it, this is telling Google that this is the price, and it's literally just encoding it in a little meta field. So this is price, this is availability, this is the rating. You've already got that data on the page. It's just kind of putting a little dictionary around it, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Cool. Next slide, Todd. Cool. Last pillar of SEO is links. So again, the same research where this dude researched 1 million Google search results, what he found was there was a direct correlation between number of websites linking to you to how highly you rank in Google for the keyword that you're trying to rank for. So if you go to the next slide, Todd. So for Mildred and Co, you guys are actually doing quite well. So you can see I've benchmarked you guys against Honeypot and the Lovely Registry, and the number of referring domains, as you see there in the second row, is 158 in comparison to Honeypot, which has 30, and the Lovely Registry has 70. So you guys have actually done a great job, or Millie has, when she was building up the site, to build up the momentum, and a lot of websites are actually linking to you, which is great. But I need you guys to start thinking about building more so that you part yourself away from Honeypot. So Honeypot and the Lovely, they will not stand still. They will still be doing SEO work and optimizing the website. So I need you to continue to think about how you can market your website and get other people linking to you. So some of the ideas that I've come up with is partnering up with other wedding providers, venues, photographers, makeup artists, fashion. So when you go buy a wedding dress, you can go, hey, can we partner up? If someone's buying a dress from you, and if they so happen to talk about, oh man, I got to think about gift registry, can you prompt them and say, hey, can you visit this website? Or better still, can you have your logo featured on their website? Vice versa, you can do the same. Here's our list of wedding partners. Our recommended photographers, our recommended wedding dress providers, so on and so forth. So it's a two-way street. You help me, I help you type of scenario.
Yeah.
You can look up different business groups and local directories. So I'm just going to give you a very crude example. Yellow Pages is a business directory. You could see if there's anything that's niche, that's wedding specific, that you guys can submit Mildred and Co into. Those tend to give you a link back to the website. As I mentioned before, creating great content resources, guides, how-tos, anything that is useful will tend to attract links to the website as well. Another opportunity is look out for places where they list where to buy opportunities. So all your providers like KitchenAid, if they don't sell direct, chances are they have a stockist page that they will be listing, where to buy their products from. So look out for all your providers and your manufacturers and see if they have those pages. And if you're not listed, just ask them to list you there as well. They will also have a link back to your site there. Last one is finding websites that list gift registries, right? Bloggers and Instagrammers who say, hey, here are a list of top 10 recommended gift registries in New Zealand or Auckland or Wellington. If they have those lists, if you're not in there, just send them a quick DM and a quick email to go, hey, thanks for this article. I think it'd be quite useful to your users, but hey, have you heard of us? We're also doing this. Can you include us in the list as well? So a quick, easy win there. Yeah, and I think that's, yeah.
I was just going to say, Jason, that don't limit this to where do you think your customers are. This is about telling Google that there are other people talking about your brand. So people might not go to your local business association, but if there's a link back from the business association to your website, that's just sent another marker and a signal to Google. So you're tracking it based on volume as opposed to not always the customer journey.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's and other things to consider as well. So I just took a quick look at your Google Analytics, and e-commerce tracking has not been enabled. Again, this is like bread and butter stuff. So you need to make sure that you enable that, and then get your developers to make sure that's integrated well with your Magento setup. So you get to see the number of products that you're selling, which products are your best sellers, and they can help us optimize it a little bit better. And then last but not least, you've registered or verified the domain as a whole, but you have not registered the website within Google Search Console. So again, very simple prompt. Just when you add a property, just make sure you add the full URL into it, and you'll be sweet there.
Okay, cool.
I'd also say, just on that Google Analytics, Jay, because this is predominantly a registry website, you could certainly use some custom goals and custom triggers on there, right? Where when people add to registry, that's kind of as good as a conversion, right? So I've added this to my registry. I have sent my registry to this many people. Those are the little nuanced triggers that you need, because you're not a normal e-commerce website. So your developers should be able to set up separate goal tracking for registries and buy now purchases, so you can really start to understand how that discovery process is happening.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
That's good. Yeah.
All right, Vinny, you've got a little bit of insights from what you've seen on the PPC side.
Right. Excellent. Yeah, so I guess leading into that conversation as well, it is really critical to have that conversion tracking set up so that you can really make sense of what's happening in Google Ads, and you can make sure that every dollar that you're spending is going towards hopefully some really valuable traffic. Unlike SEO, you have to pay for every single click that's coming through. So having a look through the account that was set up, a lot of it was using the Google Smart campaigns. This is something that we recommend against. It's good to, when going forth and setting up a ongoing account and ongoing campaigns, to really use Google's core search campaign functionality, which just allows you to control the keywords that you're appearing for more closely. And I think one of the main call outs from today is, really, you don't necessarily want to be spending money on someone looking for baby gifts. You want to be someone who's looking for baby shower registry. That's the kind of lead that ends up being more valuable, because that person ends up creating, lots of different purchases through their network for you. So that would be our kind of core recommendation, starting out with the Google Ads side of things, really trying to break down the campaign into three main areas, being a wedding registry campaign where the keywords that you're targeting are all really focused around the registry service, the gift registry, so that you are connecting with the bride and groom rather than their guests who might be looking for a particular product. And that, there's no reason why you can't expand out after starting in this space. Like, if you are getting traction, what we always try and recommend is just get the fundamentals right, get some really good results on the board for your core business offering, and then start to think about things a little bit more creatively and think about how you can expand out your targeting a little bit more. But we also just want to be really mindful of conversion rates and the likelihood of getting certain transactions across the line as well. So three main areas of the business to kind of cover over. Try and use these more standard search campaigns so you can control the keywords, control the ad copy, and control where people land as well, so that they're getting a really good first experience with your business. The next one here is just looking at how we would also weave in Facebook ads into the mix. So Facebook ads, there's three really powerful targeting options that you could be using. The first one is using Facebook's first-party audience data. So if someone updates their status after they put their engagement announcement on, Facebook groups them into a category saying they're recently engaged. And so as soon as someone's put that status up, all of a sudden we can start targeting them with these types of ads, and we can start getting in their ear a little bit to say, when the timing is right, why don't you consider going with a high quality gift registry service like Mildred & Co. The same type of targeting just for newlyweds. So if someone does update their status to newlywed, maybe you can start thinking about how you target their target them for baby gift registry types of things. Maybe that's the next step for them in their life. Or you can start thinking about how you target that network of friends. Some people are like dominoes, and once one person starts getting married, the rest of them do as well. So there's lots of really great targeting options within the Facebook network itself. But you can also weave in your custom first-party data into this as well. So having a think about, if someone does visit your website from SEO or from Google Ads, you can remarket to them with a really nice tailored message that just really helps tell your story a little bit more. At the end of the day, you're trying to break through in the market where there are other services. So you have to really let people know what makes you different, what makes you better, what makes your service better, what makes your range more appropriate, and how you're going to make it easy for them. It's a very stressful time. So I hear, so why don't we try and make it easy for people to get, really, really great service. So having a think about how you weave in your website remarketing data into your Facebook ad strategy, social media engagement. I think that's something that you're managing really well, is all the organic content. You've got a really good following, and you've got some really good databases that you can really tap into there. So thinking about how you remarket, or you send ads out to these people who have currently engaged with you, to make sure they're aware of any new themes. And I guess this year, given everything that everyone's gone through with all the lockdowns and all the restrictions that have been in place, there's a lot that you can, talk to about that, and talk to about how you can make sure that people can have a really great wedding. And, if there is a change in how people are gifting as a result, there's a lot of relevant content that you can publish out through there as well. And then the final audience targeting that you could be looking at implementing is lookalike targeting. So effectively, you take a really valuable list of people for your business. So it might be anyone who is a past customer, anyone who is in your email database or your CRM who is of the highest relevance to your business, and then you ask Facebook to create a carbon copy of those people within your location, and it enables you to start trying to market to those people and hopefully get some really good reception within that group as well. So kind of bringing all these three ideas together, you can get some really powerful results through Facebook, and it does combine some of the other approaches that you can be doing through organic and paid search as well.
Yeah.
And next one there. The next one here is Pinterest is huge. I think you've already got a really strong Pinterest page, but Pinterest does have a self-serving ads platform now. We're seeing a lot of businesses move a bit of spend into Pinterest this year. It is a bit of an e-commerce focused platform as well, which does make it really good for getting in front of people when they're in that inspiration phase, when they're doing their research, and effectively enables you to get a nice, prominent, well-stylized ads in and amongst the rest of the content that is appearing through there as well. The ways that you can target on Pinterest, you can do a keyword approach. So people will look for like wedding inspiration types of keywords and searches on Pinterest, baby shower ideas, and you can start to make sure that you align in your ads and appearing, and people just starting to really see the brand in and amongst those searches, so that they are a bit more aware of what you do. And you could also target things by interests. And again, they've got an audience feature where you can plug in your website remarketing through here as well, and have another opportunity at showcasing, maybe some of the end results of your service, things like that. But yeah, it's a really good platform there for just, especially in your space, being.
Does it matter if the content that you use is your own, like you've taken the photos or whatever, or if you're just repinning someone else? Is there a hierarchy of which is better to use, or?
Yeah, look, ultimately, if you've got your own content that is, taken by your team, then I think that's always a good way to go. If the content is from someone else, there probably can be some types of copyright matters when you're using other people's stuff, or ads in particular. So that even includes things like music, if you're putting a video ad up and you're using a copyrighted song. So just in general, it's better to have that ownership of that content where possible. If it's a picture of a product, then that should be fine, and you can go down that pathway. Like if it's the same kind of picture you're using on your website and things like that.
Yeah.
And Vinny, when you're running ads on Pinterest, are you driving them back to the site, or are you driving them to your boards?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we are driving people back to the site. There is, some people on Pinterest aren't really sure that they're leaving the page when they click. So there is a little bit of can be an unfamiliar process, because given it's a new ads platform, some people think that they're clicking to visit a board, but the platform does actually send people back to your website. So it is actually building traffic, and you can remarket to those people who have been onto your website via Pinterest ads as well. So it is, it is a mixture of experiences there, but it does kind of produce some really good results there.
Yeah.
And just finally thinking about how we bring that all together. So an idea of how you combine this approach, bringing 3 platforms together to really help grow the business. Pinterest ads for that inspiration, for people who are doing research, for that keyword-based approach. So really thinking about how you're painting the picture of how they're going to, be on their day and be on how their wedding's going to be, how their baby shower's going to be, and making sure your brand is really prominent in some of those, in that content as well. Through Google Ads, this is a purchase intent type of area where people are actively looking for something. So this is more in that consideration phase. This is where you have an opportunity to talk about the details of your offering, the pricing, and also the product range and the scope of different products that you offer. And then you could use Facebook as a really nice conversion remarketing part of the journey, so that you're showcasing things like testimonials. So really trying to get that social proof up, making sure people are aware that, if they trust their big day with your company, they're going to have a great experience, and no headaches, no dramas. There's also another opportunity for you to talk about the high quality service and the quality of the operation as well, and really trying to drive that message home. So they all have their different features and different functions. I think at the end of the day, the big priorities are getting the Google Ads account running on that standard search ads side of things, and then combining with some Facebook remarketing would be a really good foundation to start with.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds really good. And why, just curious, because I love Instagram, why did you not include Instagram in this?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. So Instagram's actually within the Facebook environment. So whenever we talk about Facebook ads, we, generally, it's just a given that Instagram will be a placement within that network. But yeah, absolutely good question there. I think we see for most of our businesses, we're probably spending more than half of our budgets on Instagram and getting much more revenue through there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, particularly the stories format. That's definitely where a lot of the action is these days.
Yeah.
Throwing ads in stories. A lot of people tend to go in the mainstream, but all of the action is happening up in the stories tabs now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've heard that too.
So guys, that was pretty aggressive. 51 minutes of quick fire things to go and do. What we'll do from here is fire you through that little deck, and of course the guys are always available to. What did you mean when you said that again? I was too embarrassed to ask on the podcast. And there's lots and lots and lots of things for you to rip into there. Did you have any other questions for us before we wrap up?
No, that's been awesome. That's been amazing. It's given us a lot deeper knowledge than what we've been given in some other places that we've looked. So it's fantastic. Yeah. It definitely makes me feel like my instinct was that we're not quite doing enough. And now I know it. There's so much opportunity. So it's cool. Thank you.
Will you can sit at the beach this Christmas writing meta copy and
amongst a few things. So I love really good feedback in there, guys, and I think it just illustrate how there's a big difference between an expert and a learner, and we're certainly been learning. So look, thanks very much for that.
Yeah,
good stuff. An absolute pleasure, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to dive through. And for those that are watching, I'm sure they will have picked out their own insight from there as well.
Yeah, cool.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys.
Great.
Have a good afternoon.
Okay.